up, and they came out here today, James, and they've really, put their head down and said, we were at fault for what happened there. Emotions got in the way. We're ready to come here and play some basketball, which is, I admire it so much that the Toundra were able to, get past this, move past this, and we are ready to tip off what should be another exciting night of basketball action.
Well, Nick, it's the heat of battle, and we're all capable of losing our cool sometimes. The Toundra, they understand that's exactly what happened in this last game, and I don't think they're going to let that happen again tonight. They look like a focused team that's going to maintain composure.
Of course, Damian Buckley slapping the chairs. The slap heard around the world made local news here in Newfoundland. It's what we're referring to, but hopefully we won't be referring to any more acts of violence against inanimate objects.
Nick, I heard that the Newfoundland Rogues social media team made some light of the situation. Can you comment on that? Do you know anything about that?
Well, as the opening tip is won by Marc-Andre Fortin, if you want to go over to the Newfoundland Rogues Instagram page, Facebook page, you can see we have made a lighthearted gesture towards this. Marc-Andre Fortin, massive block there by Will Brown. But let's just say, James, it was a crime scene around those knocked over chairs as we're underway here in this one, folks.
Well, Nick, a crime was just committed on the basketball floor, too, because Will Brown just caught a body, as he is known to do when it comes to defending the rim for this Rogues team.
Omega Harris spotting an option here, and that one out of bounds. Armani Cheney just not able to get a handle on it, and the Montreal Toundra will now take it the other way.
Just an errant pass there, Nick. Nothing much to say about it. I don't know if the catcher or the passer was at fault, but either way, the Rogues move on.
And up here, and it's good. So the first bucket of the game is for Dominic Welsh, the 6'5" shooting guard. He had 2 points in the Thursday game. Already matches total here as he gets the first bucket in this one.
Well, a quiet night for Welsh in this two teams' last contest, but a tough bucket right there, able to finish through a good contest, and we'll see if that's something he can hang his hat on. Extra
Will
pass.
Brown with a monster jam!
A beautiful find from Omega Harris there in the flow of the offense, a quick touch pass. You've got to love it.
So Marc-Andre Fortin now to Antoine Mason. Antoine Mason, who we said earlier, had 44 points on Thursday, 1 point shy of the Basketball Super League record. And we're going to get a great shot of Antoine Mason talking to the official on our Rogues action cam. Catch all the action down on the baseline and putting you in places where no basketball camera has gone before at the Mary Brown Center.
Nick
Armani Cheney dancing up off the glass, and that's beautiful for Armani Cheney, all caught on the Rogues action cam. Flory not able to hit that three, and it'll spin out of bounds.
Nick, I'm going to note that Nurbans Demosthenis guarded Armani Cheney for the entire full court, all 94 feet on that last possession. I wonder if there's a game plan to try to tire Armani Cheney out throughout this contest.
Harris handing off to Hobson. Hobson will drive, spin, fade away. That one is lovely from Robert Hobson.
Nick, prior to the game, I was saying that most of Hobson's attempts are three-point attempts. A nice, difficult, contested mid-range fadeaway there for the and one.
So Robert Hobson heading to the free throw line. What a impressive game he had on Thursday. And he will make that one count as well with the high arcing free throw. Robert Hobson now at 3 points in this game. Inside here is Demosthenes. Turning, finding Welsh now into Marc-Andre Fortin over Will Brown. Fortin has been, well, it's been a battle underneath there already, trading blows, those two big centers.
Fortin is a nice player with a soft touch around the rim. That was an impressive little baby hook.
Collins inside to Cheney, and massive block there. Big swat from Phil Flory, but it'll keep underneath here. Will Brown fouled, free throw line. And Damian Buckley, well, we're seeing him show some of that trademark emotion already as he is not happy with that call.
Easy now, Mr. Buckley. No, of course, he's entitled to express himself regardless. Like, one thing that strikes me early in this game, Antoine Mason not necessarily as featured in the offense as he was in the first game. I wonder if the Toundra are just trying to diversify their attack a little bit, get some more guys involved, maybe run more of a motion offense.
Well, it was something that Coach Damian Buckley said to Colby, is that I think the plan for Antoine Mason to get him more involved is to get him less involved, as in being able to use him as an option to find other teammates so that he doesn't have to take 30 shots as he did on Thursday.
Yeah, Nick, it is worth noting that Mason turned the ball over 6 times in their last contest, and that's totally understandable given how high his usage was, but maybe we'll see. I mean, there's a nice pass from him as we speak.
Not able to get the finish, though, was Amari Haynes. Oh, a massive slam by Will Brown!
That was phenomenal, Nick. Outstanding alley-oop play. These Mary Browns center faithful are on their feet.
That's the first time we've seen a massive alley-oop like that from Will Brown this season, and it's getting the fans on their feet and excited early.
Nick, the Rogues trying to make a statement early in this one. They certainly have momentum on this side. Now it's about capitalizing.
Collins inside, and the pass just no good for Hobson. But it was the right idea, as Coach Jerry's saying. Calm, guys, that was good.
Yeah, it was a great cut and a great find. And I love those actions where Marquise Collins gets involved as a passing hub from that elbow, high elbow area, but just the delivery was a little bit off.
So here comes Mambi Diawara, who we had a press conference with earlier. Folks, you're going to hear that press conference at halftime, as that pull-up jumper from Welsh is good. He now sits at 4 points early in this one. Rogues leading by 5.
Diawara, of course, had a very impressive game the other night with 18 points and 7 rebounds.
Hobson, 3. Off the rim into the hands of Philip Fleury. Need to mention with Mambi Diawara as well, as he's on the ball. He goes up, shooting, finishes. Diawara ended up getting ejected from the game on Thursday. Him and Coach Buckley were both ejected.
Diawara, of course, the spark plug that led to that ejection in a sense, but he had an excellent game, and he's a dynamic offensive player, Nick.
Keese nailing that three-ball, Keese. And another 3-ball is coming. That one, unlike Marquise's, does not find the end of the rainbow, and Marquise Collins will make room for Armani Cheney. Passes it to Omega Harris. Harris, step back. Oh, that was silky from Omega Harris.
Yeah, that would have been a high degree of difficulty, just rattled out, unfortunately, for Harris.
So no bucket for Omega Harris. Amari Haynes, great ball movement here. Diawara is open for 3, and that one almost put back and stumbles around. Mason not able to find its way into the bucket, as Armani Cheney will go the other way. Cheney, oh, lovely from Armani Cheney.
Nick, a bit of a backbreaker possession for the Toundra there. Great execution to create an open shot. 2 second chance opportunities missed, and you're always disappointed to come away without points, but here they draw the foul and get to the free throw line. A better outcome for this Toundra team.
So a timeout coming here. 6:36 left to go in the first. It's been fast-paced here, James. We're making great time. And one thing we wanted to mention before our show was highlight some of the key performers of last game. We didn't get a chance to do it during the pregame show, but now that we have a break in the action, we will do so. So, here we are, James. Thursday's Players of the Game. This graphic is brought to you by Marsh Reports, by Colby Marsh. James, Armani Cheney and Antoine Mason, 2 people we've been focusing on early in this game. These are the stats from Thursday: 44 points, 9 rebounds, 1 steal, 12 for 15 for Antoine Mason. Armani Cheney with 32 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, and nailing all of his free throws. James, what are you seeing from these stats from last game from these 2 amazing guards that can lead into something similar here tonight?
Well, Nick, both coaches would love to get similar performances from their guys. It's worth noting that Armani Cheney had just 4 assists in that contest, which is uncharacteristic for Armani, who of course leads the BSL with 10.1 assists per game. So a little bit of a different approach for Armani in this one, but I mean, 32 points on 10 of 22 shooting, it's hard to argue with it.
Welcome back to the desk here as we wrap up this time out. Of course, if you are late joining, you're just tuning in, I am Nick Conway, your play-by-play commentator and production manager here at the Newfoundland Rogues, and of course, joined as always by the man, the legend, James Piercy, not Colby Marsh, as it says underneath there, as we are back underway with all the action. to 8 as the players retake the court. James, we always say we're more of a fan of the red jerseys as opposed to the yellow ones, the Rogues showing out tonight. I want to give a shout out to the Montreal Toundra as well. Those baby blues look so clean with the yellow. Lovely, lovely style from the Toundra.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Nick. That was my next talking point, actually. So we're on the same page in that regard. That is a beautiful looking jersey.
That Pantone baby blue, it's quite impressive.
And Nick, I like the thematic cohesion of it, that the color. It makes you think of a Toundra, and that's something I like quite a bit. This team is well branded. It's cold.
Cheney now inside to Omega Harris, finding Cheney again as the action cam picks up everything. Collins, 3, no good, rebounded, and will be brought the other way by Diawara. Gets the pass off, 3 is good. Big 3 points there from Jalen Smith. He had 0 points in Thursday's game, and he starts off his night in a big way.
Nick, not many of these Toundra players have high offensive point per game averages, but there's a next man up mentality with this team. After Mason, of course, anybody's capable of having a big night for this Toundra squad.
Hobson, that 3 was way wide and into the corner, 3 no good. Wanted a second chance at it, Jalen Smith, but he's now 1 for 2 from beyond the arc as Cheney will pull up 3, showing him how it's done. Armani Cheney near the logo, James.
Absolutely outrageous, Nick, and that's just absolutely unguardable. You cannot adjust for that shot because you can't pressure that high up or else you're going to give up easy backdoor cuts, and so it puts the defense in an impossible predicament.
Marquise Collins getting that tough rebound there, and it will go the other way. Here's Cheney up, and Will Brown almost was able to connect on the alley-oop. It wouldn't have mattered, though, as the foul was called on the floor.
Nick, it's Armani's ability to shift the geometry of the court that makes him such an effective modern basketball point guard. That from the logo pull-up 3 is a staple for an elite offensive guard in 2024.
So here's Shondarius Coward. Speaking of elite guards, passes it back to Cheney, who can't convert on a second 3 in a row. Diawara on it now for Montreal. A lot of the ball handling responsibilities falling on Mombi's shoulders. What can you do with it? And pass is tipped by Collins, but it's right back up, and the drive from Amari Haynes is good. He's got his first 2 points in this one. Amari Haynes, who had 2 points in the Thursday contest.
Very strong drive from Haynes right there. Impressive slash to the basket for 2 points.
Cheney, good ball inside, but it's not going to count, though. The foul called on the offense. So Will Brown going to sub out now here for Louis Jonkum. You can see in the middle of your screen there, Jonkum making his way onto the floor. Antonio Davis, if you're not familiar, those of you watching at home, used to be a Montreal Toundra player, number 4 on the Rogues, who just is getting back into the action. Former Montreal Toundra player. 3 is no good. It's going to be interesting to see. He had a phenomenal game on Thursday if he can keep it up here tonight. Now Tone on the ball, passing it to Shondarius Coward. Coward inside to Jonkum. Jonkum up, and the roll is unlucky for him. He goes around the rim into the hands of Mason once again. Mason, and a foul is called on the floor after that mix-up between Shondarius, Keese, and Mason.
Nick Mason just so effective in providing this Tundra team with rim pressure. He is always driving to the basket. He's not afraid of contact, and that's how he's able to get so many free throws in his last contest, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a similar performance tonight.
And folks, if you're watching on BSL TV tonight, be sure to get your comments in the chat box just to the right-hand side of your screen. We love to hear from all of you watching at home where you're from, what you're thinking of the action. If you have anything to say at all, let us know, and we can read it out on the show. And a travel is called on the Montreal Toundra on Nervens Demosthenes. So Rogues possession once more.
Like, I'd like to see some comments on these cool, crisp Tundra jerseys because I just love them so much, and I wonder if our viewers do as well.
Hopefully the color correction on the camera is sharp enough that you can truly pick up the tone of the jerseys in person. Shout out to everyone with the Montreal Toundra for being such a fresh new addition to the basketball landscape here in this great country. Lewis up, and offensive foul called on Antonio Davis. So running into his former teammate a little bit too eagerly there.
A little too much comfort possibly, Nick. There, he's playing like they play in practice, going extra hard at each other with no ref to blow a whistle.
Flory going to inbound. Go the other way here. Philip Flory. He also has a training academy, James. Philip Flory Training. Want to give a shout out to Philip Flory Training. Excellent ball player. I'm sure you can learn all you need to know about the professional game from someone as talented as him. But a mad scramble underneath here. Only a few seconds left on the shot clock. How did that one not fall? But in the end, it does. Amari Haynes finally able to put it back. The Cape Carteret, North Carolina native.
And Nick, that's what sometimes gambling on defense will do. It'll create an easy opportunity for the opponents. That's not to criticize anybody because the Rogues almost came up with a steal, but when the Tundra were able to collect that ball, it was very easy for them to score. Going back to Flory, I want to mention that he's the Tundra's second leading scorer at 13.2 points per game. So if you have an opportunity to go to that training academy, Flory can certainly teach you a thing or two about how to put the ball in the basket.
Shaney. Down low here, finds Lewis Jonkum, excellent pass inside, and well, it looked like a well-worked play there, but it was stolen by Diawara, and Amari Haynes, hard foul under the basket. Shondarius Coward will be penalized, and Amari Haynes, James, with a chance to add to his total. He already has 4 points in this one, leads all Tundra players. Now he has a chance to add 2 more.
Now, going back to that last Rogues possession, I like that Lewis Jonkum attempted that short roll pass just instinctually. Trying to generate those corner threes is a great way to get some efficient offense going, but intercepted well by the Tundra.
So as we get a timeout here, we will take our first short break of the game, myself and James, so don't worry folks, we'll be right back to cover all the action coming up. There you can get a lovely shot of the beautiful court here at the Mary Brown Center, James. It really, truly is a phenomenal building here that we're so privileged to be able to call our working environment on these Rogues days. Bring you back to the desk quickly here. My name is Nick Conway, joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, James Kearsey. What kind of action are we seeing here tonight? Has it been as chippy as you thought it would?
Nick, it's certainly been chippy, but at the same time, very much within the confines of the rules. Both teams playing physically. The Tundra doing a great job to get to the free throw line. and make sure to make an effort to score inside. Both teams playing well.
So now we're back on to the court, and after that long break, we are going to see Amari Haynes finally shoot his free throws. Haynes, who is at 4 points in this one now, but will remain at 4 for now as the Bluebirds doing their job here in Newfoundland.
Nick Haynes, a 75% free throw shooter, typically reliable enough. Misses the first one, makes the second one.
Amari Haynes now sitting at 5 points, leads all of the Montreal Toundra. Harris inside to Otley. Otley finding Coward. Harris to Anthony Otley Jr. up, and Omega Harris almost had that putback one-handed jam. That would have been something. And he steals it, brings it back the other way. Davis up. Foul is called. 2 free throws coming up for the Detroit, Michigan Red Baller.
Antonio Davis, Nick, certainly a dynamic basketball player, a very talented shooter off the catch or the dribble, a reliable enough ball handler, just a well-rounded offensive guard.
2 free throws here for Tone. The first one takes a couple of bounces before finding its way out. Didn't look too happy about that one, Tone.
Everybody's gonna miss one from time to time, Nick. Antonio Davis, an 83.3% free throw shooter, so that is an abnormality.
Antonio Davis, he had 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists in Thursday's contest. Was only 1 for 4 from the field as he misses the second one there too. He made 6 out of his 7 free throw attempts on Thursday.
Can happen to anybody, Nick, and you know.
Step back, and the rebound is grabbed by Tone, making up for it. The fans showing their appreciation here. Shondarius Coward driving the other way inside now to Lewis Jonkum. Jonkum outside to Otley for 3. Anthony Otley Jr., how about that?
And Nick, Lewis Jonkum making up for that turnover on that exact same short roll pass just a couple of possessions ago. This time he generates a good look for Otley from the corner, and that's 3 points. The corner 3 is the best 3 on the floor.
Diawara pulling up deep for 2. That one no good. Rebound. Will scramble around for a bit, and it's Rogues ball.
Nick, I saw an interesting discussion on X recently about the corner 3, if I could share a little bit of. It's generally believed that the corner 3 is the best shot, the best 3-point shot because it's the shortest distance. But somebody was speculating that really it's just hardest for the defense to space out to that extent. And that it's got more to do with the fact that that's the shot that's most likely to be left open or semi-open than the distance itself.
James, this is what I love about having you as the co-commentator, because you can bring real basketball knowledge like that to the table and open up these kind of discussions. As we just saw a mad scramble there inside the paint. Harris was in there, Otley was in there, some Toundra players were in there. In the end, it ends up as a jump ball between Brandon Bellotti and Omega Harris. This might be the most hops I've ever seen in a single jump ball. These two can really jump, and there we go. We just seen it. Fu gonna grab the rebound as Daniel Fu is on the court, Newfoundland's own. Corner Brook native, St. John's resident now, Daniel Fu. As Lewis Jonkum up, that one falls into the hands of the Toundra.
Make no mistake, Nick, this is a physical game. We're within the confines of the rules, but neither of these teams are afraid of one another, and it's been very competitive thus far too, 22-20.
That bucket good for Dominic Welsh. He has 6 points now. Could be a breakout game for Dominic Welsh after Thursday not having the best night of his career. Fu, the pass inside, and he causes the foul there, so that pass intended for Omega Harris has drawn something of the referee's ire, and it will remain on the floor. 14 seconds left. The Rogues now with a chance to finish this quarter strong. They already lead by 2.
Nick, that passing lane was just a little too crowded. Somebody on the Tundra committed a foul there and bailed the Rogues out, but not a very safe pass in that instance. And of course, we all make mistakes.
So the referees finally have it sorted out here. Omega Harris will be taking free throws. I was looking at the screen there, James. I thought surely the Tundra are in the bonus by now. This should be 2 free throws coming up, and the referees, they also seem to agree as Omega Harris nails that first one. He has a 78.9% free throw percentage on the year. As he makes that one,
well, Nick, this ought to be the final possession for the Tundra. Very competitive first quarter, no matter how it shakes out.
Mambi Diawara handing it off to Brandon Bellotti. Diawara to Bellotti. Inside. Pull up for 2. That one air balls out of bounds off Shondarius Cowart. So with 2 seconds left on the clock, the Montreal Tundra are going to have an opportunity to create something here. They won't be able to, excuse me, James, they won't be able to take the lead. But they can at least try. Bellotti for and the refs say Rogues ball with 0.3 seconds left on the clock as I was getting ready to announce the end of the quarter, but they're just going to inbound here. There we go, folks. The Newfoundland Rogues leading 24-20 over the Montreal Tundra at the end of the first quarter. Don't go anywhere, folks. We have the rest of the action coming up, and we are going to hear an exclusive interview with Newfoundland Rogues head coach Jerry Williams. So folks, don't go anywhere. Once again, we'll be back with you in just one moment. Welcome back to the desk here at the Mary Brown Center. If it's a little hard to hear, the drum line is helping encourage a fan here for these buckets for tickets. Of course, I have the Newfoundland Rogues head coach, Jerry Williams, sitting next to me. Jerry, how is this game going so far? What are you seeing from your view of it?
From my view, everything is going really good right now. The guys are playing together as a team. They're playing really hard. Even when we make mistakes, they're not letting it get them down. They're still trying to play through it. So I couldn't ask for a better quarter. We just got to keep pushing the momentum. If we keep playing the same way that we're playing, I feel pretty good about the game.
Antoine Mason hasn't been as involved in the game as he was in the early stages of Thursday. What do you think this means going forward for the rest of the series?
Well, I mean, we had to make adjustments. You know, he gave us 44 points the last game, so we had to try to take the ball out of his hand as much as possible. So we're double teaming him off the screens, which is making him get the ball out of his hands. So it's working so far. So we're going to continue the same game plan. You know, we can't let him get 44 points. They go as he goes. So if we can get the ball out of his hands, we'll be pretty good.
We've seen you dive deep into the rotation using almost all of your players early in the first quarter. Is that something you look to plan on continuing doing here in the first half of the back-to-back?
I mean, I have to. We have an early turnaround tomorrow. The game's at 2 o'clock, so I can't just burn these guys out. There's no way I can let Money and Marquise play over 40 minutes tonight. So I told the guys today at shoot-around, everyone has to be on board and ready to play some key minutes tonight because we have to do this thing tonight, then turn around and do it again tomorrow. So they're doing pretty good right now.
All right, we'll send you back to the bench there. Good luck out there, Coach.
All right, appreciate you, man.
We always love hearing from Coach Williams here at the Mary Brown Center as we welcome James Piercy back to the desk and we welcome the players back out onto the court. James, welcome back as we welcome you back to the desk quickly before we head back out onto the court. What are you seeing? We asked Coach Williams what he's seeing from his perspective so far in this one. What are you seeing from your perspective on how this game is going to shape out?
Nick, I expect the Tundra to continue pressuring the rim, trying to generate free throws, and if not, dunks and layups. I expect both teams comfortable enough trying to push the pace, and whoever can control that pace and win the transition game is going to have a big advantage in this one because both teams like to run.
this has certainly been, to your point, James, a fast-paced game, a transition game. We're going to see how this one plays out as Nervins Demosthenes on the ball, and the foul is called.
Now, Nick, I wouldn't be surprised if that one upset the Toundra a little bit. I'm not sure if the contact was as significant as it looked based on how the contact was received, but who's to say?
Scramble underneath there. You can see the Rogues action cam capturing everything as there's Will Brown handing it off. Inside now, up goes Harris. Lovely finish, one hand from Omega Harris. James, we always wax lyrical about Omega Harris, but he has taken his game to the next level.
Nick, he's something of a lyrical miracle in my opinion. Omega Harris.
Steal there from Harris as we're talking about him. Harris finding Cheney for three. And it's good, Armani Cheney.
And those steals are a very valuable part of Omega Harris's game. Averages 1.5 per contest as the Toundra converted the two-pointer. Nick, the steal is the most valuable stat in basketball.
Excellent layoff. Hobson nailing it once again. Omega Harris, the catalyst, making things happen, and Robert Hobson finishing it off.
Rogues building a little momentum here. It's got a lot to do with Omega Harris and his floor vision and his craftiness on the defensive end.
32-22 here now. The the quarter started at 24-20. Rogues on an impressive 10-0 run here to start this one.
Starting to build some momentum, Nick, and
the 8-2 run, I should say.
We talked about the transition game, and that's how the Rogues are building this lead. That they're getting out and they're running.
Antoine Mason up, and 2 free throws coming up for Antoine. So Antoine Mason, who right now, James, has 0 points in this game after having 44 on Thursday. This is his first chance to really establish himself now from the free throw line. First one is off the rim and out. So Antoine Mason, who had struggles with his free throws in the later stages of the Thursday game. He was 12 for 15 overall, but 2 missed free throws there and 2 missed free throws last night came up crucial for the Rogues in securing the victory.
And Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Toundra are looking maybe a little snake bit from the line tonight. They're getting to the line frequently, but they are leaving some points on the table. No coach likes to see that.
Hobson. Collins, 3. Nailing it! 3 ball, Keys.
Like Marquise Collins, always so collected and stoic in his demeanor. Knocks down that 3, almost no reaction. And if you were to miss it, I think we'd see the same thing. Never too high, never too low.
So Nervous Demosthenes now finding his teammate. Beautiful spin from Amari Haynes, who finishes that one off. Antoine Mason with the great pass there inside as well. Armani Cheney bring it down the other way with speed inside to Will Brown. Spinning, driving, bullying his way through, but it wasn't powerful enough. The pass was no good. Antoine Mason up, no bucket, and the Newfoundland Rogues will take the offensive charge. Marquise Collins will heal up by the Moppers as they get a nice chuckle out of that.
To make a comment on that last Rogues possession, if William Brown is going to call for the ball on the low block, he's got to try to score. That pass was ill-timed because he had a size mismatch. He needs to try to get a dunk or a layup attempt at that possession.
Timeout called here, and hold on, we're getting some action here. Marquise Collins getting into it, and I believe there's still some turmoil from Thursday boiling over, from that last play boiling over, and the fans just getting a view of it here, taking it all in.
Nick, what is going on between these two teams?
So I believe it was Levi Londelay and Marquise Collins getting into it. There was a verbal exchange that led into some physical contact, and we're going to see what the decision is from the officials.
Coach Damian Buckley perhaps pushing his luck, Nick. He's certainly been animated and not shy from expressing himself. And then after last night's, 2 nights ago's situation, you might think he'd be a little more accommodating with the referees, but that has not been the case.
Well, we're going to find out what will happen here as the rest of this timeout will continue. This will give us a great chance, James, to talk about some of our sponsors. So, here we go. James, did you know that Bauden is the official game ball of the Basketball Super League? James, did you know that?
I did, Nick. I'm fully bought in when it comes to Bauden. Excellent ball, feels great, great grip, everything you're looking for in a basketball, and we appreciate that they provide the BSL with their product.
And of course, we can't have any action if these guys are without clothes, so that's why we have our official jersey and apparel sponsor, Wooter. That is Wooter, the official jersey and apparel sponsor of the Basketball Super League, keeping all of our players well clothed as we are back underway here, coming out of the timeout, 35-24. These fans here tonight, James, I want to talk about them. They have been electric, reactive to everything, and you can just hear them get loud here as we are about to get back underway.
Absolutely, Nick, and well, those sort of confrontations and that sort of those tense situations, they'll get these people riled up. It's human nature. Newfoundland definitely not known as the quietest place on earth in terms of rowdiness and fights. Yeah, no, I've certainly never seen a fight at downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, not once. No, it never happens. No, that doesn't happen here. Thompson, three. That three won't happen as out of bounds called on the Toundra on that rebound, so little lapse of judgment there from Amari Haynes will lead to the Rogues getting another chance at attacking the bucket. Look, I was going to tell you, as somebody with great ties to Quebec, a lot of ties to Quebec, Quebecers not necessarily afraid of a scrap, as another scrap potentially. Oh, hold on, here we go. Marcus Collins getting into it again. And the sparks are flying. There is no love lost between these two teams, clearly, as the referees are just going to have a word here, have a discussion. Marquise Collins being taken away by Will Brown. And it seems like... And Marquise Collins is gone. He's ejected. Marquise Collins is out of the game. And it will be an early shower for the Pennsylvania native as he will head off of the court. James, that is a massive development in this game. It certainly is, Nick. I mean, that's the Newfoundland Rogues' second leading scorer, their reliable star forward. Something is happening between him and Antoine Mason. And eventually, I believe that Collins just reached a breaking point. Well, Amari Haynes was in there. I believe it was Levi Londelay who was in there during the first scuffle. And the Rogues just having a discussion with the officials here to see how this one is going to figure itself out. And the referee has heard enough from Armani, he's heard enough from Jerry Williams. We want to get this game back underway. Well, the referees, they're going to make their decisions independent of what any of these guys have to tell them. Armani Cheney, arguably not the least biased when it comes to the situation here, and the refs are well aware of where everybody stands. So a free throw is going to come up here for Philip Flory. And the Newfoundland Rogues, you were in such a good position. You were, as there you can see some fans there enjoying it, up in the box. They were in a 10-point lead. Now a 9-point lead. It's just something that if you're Jerry Williams, you do not want to see happen under any circumstances, especially for a play that didn't seem physical as well. It seemed a lot of it was mainly verbal, and it just escalated to the point where Marquise Collins has gotten himself ejected. Nick, I've seen so many skirmishes and so much tension break out in a basketball game over one player passing another player the ball when it comes time to change possessions. I find that is frequently a point of contention between two basketball players.
It all started when Marquise Collins took that shot down low underneath the Rogues basket, and it ends with Collins off the floor. Cheney, three, in response, nails it, getting the crowd going here.
Nick, Armani Cheney, ever the star player, so seldom involved in those tense situations because he knows he needs to be on the floor, and just now he provides a bit of a stabilizing force for the Rogues.
Demosthenes handing it off. The Toundra looking to attack, and a collision inside the paint. It will be a foul on Armani Cheney. So inbound from the Toundra coming up as they sub Mambi Diawara back into this game.
Nick, that first quarter, it flew by. It got away from us very quickly. In this second quarter, crawling at a snail's pace with these regular stoppages and skirmishes. I feel like I've been here all night by now.
Well, it's our tip-off is at 7 o'clock here. It's 7:41 here in Newfoundland now, and we're only 8:23 into the game. That just goes to show how long the second quarter's been in terms of getting everything figured out. But the referee's just having another discussion at the scores table as we await the restart. And it looks like we're finally going to get it here. Philip Fleury ready to inbound.
Can't fault these players for being competitive, Nick, but at some point, they're going to have to tone it down and let the game unfold because it's not, I mean, it worked out for the Toundra to see Marquise Collins ejected. Nice bucket there from Antoine Mason. But as much as that worked out in their benefit, in the end, it doesn't benefit anybody to be arguing and nearly fighting all night.
Two free throws coming up for Armani Cheney after that tough collision. James, we saw Antoine Mason hit his first three of the game. That means he now has 3 points as he missed 2 of his free throws earlier. It's not been the hottest night in Antoine Mason's career, but it seems like he's starting to heat things up here. The Toundra with a massive opportunity now that Marquise Collins has been ejected for the Newfoundland Rogues.
Nick, the Toundra have to be encouraged by how much production they've been able to get in spite of Mason's quiet start, because if he's able to heat up, that should bode very well for them in this contest, especially, as you said, with Collins now a non-factor. And Armani Cheney's going to have to do some heavy lifting here to make sure the Rogues come away with this one.
Back in play now, Mambi Diawara. Cheney hitting that free throw, 40-30. The Rogues have maintained a steady lead throughout the game, but it hasn't been easy for them as there's the beautiful slam from Amari Haynes. Almost lost the handle on it, but in the end, Amari Haynes will find its home. Silky from Cheney on Diawara. Excellent use of the screen from Armani Cheney. That is fantastic teamwork.
Armani Cheney starting to activate takeover mode. Nick, he's got 17 in this one already to go with 4 rebounds and 2 assists, but he's definitely looking to call his own number and get some buckets, and with Collins absent, that might be what he has to do.
And we're going to see a substitution here. Tone in, Rob out. So that's Antonio Davis in for the Rogues, Robert Hobson out. As the Toundra now inbound. Here's Mambi to Amari Haynes. Back to Mambi Diawara, pulls up for 3. Off the outside of the rim into the hands of Armani Cheney. To Tone, 3 for him. That one into the hands of Mambi Diawara. He'll bring it down the other way. Amari Haynes, massive block by Will Brown. The foul called underneath on Louis Joncom afterwards. My goodness, that was a flying hand.
Yes, sir. Nick, I noticed that Coach Williams has both Louis Joncom and William Brown on the floor, possibly trying to contain that dribble penetration by protecting the rim, because the Toundra are certainly looking to score inside on a regular basis.
So there we have it, folks. A timeout is called here in the second quarter, 42-32. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with you in just one moment. Welcome back to the desk here at the Mary Brown Center. Myself joined with James Piercy, our color commentator. James, my speech is taken away a little bit here because of what we saw with Marquise Collins. If fans are just tuning in here, kind of give a brief overview of what happened and how you think it'll affect the game going back into the second quarter.
Well, Nick, I mean, there certainly seems to be some tension between these teams. We saw a lot of technicals and ejections, including, of course, the head coach of the Montreal Toundra in the last game. And it seems to have carried over, and Marquise Collins is ejected. As for how I think it'll affect the game, I mean, the Rogues are without their second best player, their number 2 scorer. Marquise Collins, a absolutely excellent dynamic offensive force for this team. The Rogues are going to have to adjust to life without him for tonight.
Let's head back to the court now, where the Rogues and Toundra will continue this fight. So here we go, James. This one has gotten my heart pumping, let me tell you. The fans are active here. We have a great crowd here.
Nick, this is it's certainly tense. You couldn't say that it wasn't tense.
So the first one for Diawara is good, cutting the lead back down into single digits. Mambi Diawara, of course, as mentioned previously, he got 2 techs and was ejected in the Thursday's game. That was the first ejection we've seen here at the Mary Brown Center so far this season. The second came in the same game when Damian Buckley got ejected, and now we've seen the 3rd ejection of the season in only 2 games. James, I wish the Montreal Toundra could come here every game, because sparks flying like this is action-packed. This is what we love to see here at the Mary Brown Center to an extent.
I don't know if it's sustainable. I think maybe 3 games is all these teams can handle. Great play there by the Rogues to exploit the ball pressure that the Toundra were applying, trying to trap them in the high backcourt, and just the Rogues exploited it.
Diawara up against Tone. Inside, and the pass rejected by Will Brown. It's going to go back to Diawara, and Demosthenes, not able to grab the rebound, falls into the hands of Armani Cheney. Cheney, silky driving, foul called on the floor. So the Newfoundland Rogues will have a chance to reset here with 19 seconds left on the shot clock.
Like Anthony Oddly on the floor may serve as a replacement for Marquise Collins throughout the rest of this game. Obviously not the same type of offensive player, but capable of spacing the floor from that 4 spot the same way. So
Shondarius up and in. Beautiful finish from Shondarius Cowart. We were speaking with Shondarius before. We are going to hear an exclusive interview with Shondarius Cowart coming up at halftime as part of our Rogues report, where he talked about his ex-college or his ex-university. Grambling State is that one ice cold from Antoine Mason. Another 3 for him. James, Grambling State, who played Purdue yesterday. Such a cool moment. This Will Brown up and in. You're going to hear all about what Shondarius Cowart had to think of his former university, the team he played for last year, Grambling State, coming up against Purdue. Hear all of his thoughts here as he defends, and that one finds its way into the corner somehow. Cowart up, grabs the rebound. He's been active in this one. Cheney, 3. No good. Rebounded.
Armani is feeling those pull-ups tonight. Finally misses one.
Cheney going to go the other way. Cheney up on Mason. The block coming a little bit late, but the foul will be called on Mason as Armani Cheney will head to the free throw line with a chance to hit the 50-point threshold a little over halfway through this game.
Armani Cheney is certainly on a tear tonight, Nick. This will be up to 19 points if he's able to knock both of these down.
17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for Armani Cheney.
Interesting that those assist numbers have been down now for 2 consecutive games. I think it's probably got something to do with how the Toundra are covering Armani more than any intentional shift in Armani's game plan, because he always gets his teammates involved.
Substitution coming in. Trey Adams making his way.
Nick Adams not necessarily high in the rotation for these Rogues, but certainly a capable player who can block some shots with his impressive length, finish some lobs in pick and roll sets. Exciting to see him get on the floor.
Cheney missing that one. He does lead all the Rogues in free throw percentage this year with 89.9%. That one makes its way towards Jerry Williams, and the Rogues will retain possession off of a little bit of confusion. As we were saying earlier, Armani Cheney actually with an 88.1 free throw percentage. His three-point percentage, his field goal percentage on the year just as a whole is at 50%. When you shoot as much as Armani Cheney, James, that is absolutely ridiculous to be holding an average that high.
Well, Nick, it's especially ridiculous for a guard as well who shoots jump shots. Armani scores from all 3 levels, layups, mid-range, and three-point. And a guard almost never shoots that type of percentage. That's typically reflective of a big man who looks to score mostly around the rim.
So a little bit of issues at the scores table once again here, and they're telling the players just to back away as they figure out something. Armani Cheney clearly showing his frustration with how things have transpired here in this one. James, if I was a referee in this game, that might be my worst nightmare. I really do feel for these guys. The amount of pressure they're being put under here.
Nick, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys are going to go home to a stiff drink after this one. I know I would. On the rocks, maybe, because you got to do something to relieve the stress after a night like this.
There you can see the Montreal Toundra bench patiently awaiting the restart of this game. And it looks like we're going to get it soon, but not until Damian Buckley quits yapping to the official. And it looks like they finished it here. So Sean Darius going to inbound to Omega Harris. And we are back underway in this game. Shave under 4:30 left to go. Tone 3. That one hit every part of the rim except for the net.
Nick Davis shooting a 50% from deep this year, which is absolutely remarkable. Struggling to find his rhythm in this one, but of course he's adjusting to Davis, still adjusting to a new team with new offensive principles and a new role, so he has to be afforded a certain amount of leeway.
Mambi Diawara with an excellent take to the basket there, earning himself 2 free throws. Diawara, who's already almost at a triple-double, now sits at 7 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists.
That is certainly a nice, well-rounded lineup for Diawara. Nick, we were impressed with him in the last game, but I don't think his statistical output was quite that impressive. 18 points and 7 boards, but it's nice to see him passing and making plays tonight, getting that assist total up.
Sean Darius now to Omega Harris. Harris to Otley. Otley driving up off the backboard, and one for Anthony Otley Jr.
Nick, I spoke a little bit on Otley Jr. potentially functioning as a facsimile for Marquise Collins to the best of his ability, and that's exactly what we saw right there, attacking the basket in a Collins-esque fashion, one might say.
Otley Jr. only played 8 minutes on Thursday, but it was a crucial 8 minutes coming in during the later stages of the game and locking down Antoine Mason as much as one human can possibly do. And he's going to be called upon to make a big impact here in this one. Diawara shooting is Mason. That one rebounded well, and it's put back home by Brandon Bellotti. First 2 points of the game for Brandon Bellotti. James, it's worth noting about Brandon Bellotti. He has over 1 million followers on TikTok, over 100,000 on Instagram alone. A human highlight reels is a block from Diawara. Finds its way back into the hands of the Newfoundland Rogues. Tone gonna regain possession. Finding Otley Jr. spinning, shooting, Anthony Otley Jr.
Otley, Marquise Anthony Otley Collins.
Marquise Anthony Otley Collins is so right. As Mambi Diawara inside now to Fortin up against Trey, and the bucket is good for the Frenchman.
Nick, that'll be another assist from Mambi Diawara. Really having an impressive game. 8 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. He's a very versatile player.
Otley Jr. up. Excellent move to shimmy past Bellotti. Sean Darius, pull up 3. That one rebounded by Mambi Diawara. Now Mambi, who I believe now that is his 10th rebound of the game. His 9th. There's 8th. There we go.
Still, Nick, Diawara is certainly on triple-double watch. In fact, it feels almost inevitable at this point.
So we get a timeout called in this game, and folks, well, if you want to win a new snow tractor, you can do so. Peter Easton is modeling this beautiful New Holland snow tractor, giving a Queen's wave to all of his beautiful, loyal subjects. And folks, come down to the Mary Brown Center if you want to have a chance to scan the QR code and win a year's lease on a new tractor.
Nick, do you know what I always say?
What do you always say?
There's snow tractor like a snow tractor. That's one thing I always say.
Well,
I say it a lot.
That's one of my favorite things I've ever heard you say, James.
Well, it's something I'm used to saying, so.
Bring you back to the desk here quickly as this timeout comes to its conclusion. We're going to see a packed halftime show. We've got the Drumline collection coming in. We have the Mambi Diawara press conference from earlier today where he talks about how he prepared for this upcoming game and a little bit just more about himself and the Toundra as a whole. And we'll also have a Rogues report with Sean Darius Cower where he'll talk about everything from Grambling State against Purdue to how he's adjusted to the Newfoundland weather. So don't go anywhere for halftime, folks. We will have a phenomenal show for you. But with all that being said, we have basketball action to get back to right now.
Nick, you know what would help somebody adjust to the weather in Newfoundland?
What would help someone adjust?
A snow tractor.
A brand new snow tractor, which you can win a year's lease from the New Holland Workmaster 255's subcompact tractor. It could be yours for a year if you come down to the Mary Brown Center, scan the QR code, and have your chance to enter these sweepstakes as Mambi Diawara will be back up to the plate here. 2 free throws, connects on the first one. 9 points now for Mambi.
Mambi Diawara is just a very impressive player, Nick. We said it last broadcast, and he's only exceeding his production in this one. Kind of keeping this team afloat as Antoine Mason now has 6 points, but he has not heated up nearly to the same extent as he did in the last contest.
Omega Harris, silky moves to send Diawara there, but he gets back on his assignment quickly. It's Hobson. Creating space here using the screen from Trey. Now to Omega Harris, 3 off the rim and into the hands of Diawara. Up for Antoine Mason, gets past Anthony Otley Jr. And Otley Jr. not clued into the Robert Hobson pass, and a timeout has been called.
Nick, a rebound and an assist for Diawara on that last possession, by the way.
a timeout, I believe, was announced, but actually it will be substitutions. So Anthony Ollie Jr. and Trey Adams coming out of this one as Fleury not able to connect on that three. Kick ball will be Rogues. And Armani Cheney will have the chance to inbound here in just a moment. 2:09 left to go, 54-47 is the score.
Like the Rogues able to mostly weather a bit of a rest for Armani Cheney. That's always vital for any team when it comes to their primary playmaker, because he's not going to play 48 minutes in most nights. It's just too much to ask.
Cheney, three, wanted the foul called, and he's not going to get it. It's going to be Toundra ball. One thing that myself and Coach Jerry Williams of the Newfoundland Rogues were talking about earlier was the fact that Armani Cheney and Marquise Collins, well, Marquise Collins is gone now, but they can't play all 40 minutes, especially with an early back-to-back. It is a massive swat there. Will go the other way from the Newfoundland Rogues. Here's Cheney up against Diawara, takes it himself. Can't get the finish, but Jonkum battling, and Brandon Bellotti and Louis Jonkum will compete for a jump ball.
And Nick, this is a case of height versus vertical, as Jonkum with certainly a height advantage, but we know Bellotti can really get up in the air.
Louis Jonkum, he doesn't jump too often for a guy for his size, and Brandon Bellotti winning that one back. But it was a good effort from Jonkum. Got to hand it to him. Anyone with Brandon Bellotti's hops is always going to be a tough assignment. Bellotti hands it back for Mason. Three, air ball for Antoine Mason. And oh, the chairs have gone down again. Crash and burn.
This time, accidentally, I didn't see what happened, but we had a bit of a collision. Is that what happened?
The camera, I don't believe, picked it up live in time after that air ball. The attempt was made by Bellotti to keep that ball in bounds, but unfortunately he went crashing into an entire row of chairs as Robert Hobson finding nothing but rim and Mambi Diawara's hand. Diawara up, and Louis Jonkum getting caught on the foul. So 2 free throws coming up for Mambi Diawara. He has reached 10 rebounds and 10 points already in this one. The double-double for Mambi.
And Nick, just 2 assists short of a triple-double, we believe. Of course, we are relying on some unofficial stat keeping in this contest. Either way, Diawara certainly on pace for just a phenomenal statistical output.
So we'd like to thank our sideline reporter, Colby Marsh, for single-handedly tracking all points, rebounds, and assists here. He is truly doing God's work for us as we are unable to access the live stats from the scores table. Shout out Marsh_reports on Instagram. So we're back underway here, 54-48. So we'll slow down just a little bit for the Rogues. They haven't had a run in a while. They'll look to get something going here to end the quarter. Stolen by Marc-Andre Fortin from Omega Harris. Mason, offensive foul, and no points will be shared for either team as 2 blank possessions in a row will lead to Rogues ball.
Nick, Antoine Mason, shockingly enough, disagrees with the call, trying his hardest to protest.
Antoine Mason, who was 15 for 29 from the field last night.
He was just incredible, absolutely incredible. An especially impressive inside scorer.
Sean Darius up, and that one will be Rogues ball. Last touch off of Jalen Smith. So Armani Cheney going to inbound. It's only a 6-point game here. Rogues looking for something to end the quarter strong. Cheney assessing his options, using the screen from Will Brown to create some lovely separation. Massive block there! Rogues ball with 6 seconds left on the shot clock.
Nick, the Rogues would certainly like to get a basket here to close out the quarter, and they will. William Brown with a nice finish and potential for a 3-point play as he gets to the free throw line.
Will Brown dogging it out there underneath the paint, getting crucial 2 points for the Newfoundland Rogues with 19.7 seconds left in this half. Folks, want to remind you once again about our halftime show. The Drumline Collection will be providing the backing track, the drum beat, for what should be a phenomenal halftime show. We have Shondarius Coward interview. We will have a press conference with Mambi Diawara, and folks, that will bring us right back to game time. So grab a quick snack while you can. The pass for Brandon Bellotti, and it's going to go the other way. So the Newfoundland Rogues, 1.2 seconds left. Are they going to attempt a full court or at least half court shot? They're going to. Hobson from half court, and does not make a dent in the rim, as that one will do it.
Williams' prior sensibilities from last season when he often went small.
Well, the Basketball Super League, it's a big league, it's a tough league. That's why the Rogues had to get bigger and tougher as we are back underway in this third quarter. Speaking of big, that's exactly what this game is. And speaking of tough, that's exactly what these players are. As Antonio Davis off the rim, the Rogues action cam, catching everything down low for us. Shout out to Alberto.
I love that possession, Nick. The ball was whizzing around. Everybody was looking for an open shot from one of their teammates. Didn't go in, but I like the process.
Here come the Toundra now, who are down by 9 points. Fortin making it a 7-point lead for the Rogues, cutting into it as he gets the first bucket of the second half.
Fortin has got a really soft touch on that baby hook, Nick. That's 6 points for him tonight. I think they all came courtesy of similar shots, if I'm not mistaken.
That battle underneath the bucket is going to be epic. It already has been throughout this game between him and Will Brown. It will continue to grow as this game goes on, as the Toundra with another bucket there, down to a 5-point lead for the Rogues. Slow start from the home side. AD and Will Brown not able to collect that pass, which was intended for Robert Hobson. It'll go the other way. And the Newfoundland Rogues now 3 possessions in a row to start this half without scoring. The Toundra with an opportunity to tie.
Make an uncharacteristically slow start for the Rogues. With that said, I think that the process has been sound on most of their possessions. That last possession, a little bit funky for my taste. But otherwise, the Rogues, they've been playing well. They're just not putting the ball in the basket.
And as you were saying that, James, a tech has been called on the Newfoundland Rogues. And it was Armani Cheney who got that tech. Didn't exactly see what he did to deserve it, perhaps just said the wrong thing at the wrong time. As the Toundra were able to convert on that, now it is a 4-point game.
Nick, it's hard for us to suss out technical fouls here from the broadcast booth because we can't hear what these players are saying.
Fall away, all that is beautiful from Antoine Mason. He is now, well, James, he is at a 6 points now in this one. Armani Cheney spinning. Antonio Davis going the other way here. Will Brown up off the glass. Went in with a little too much recklessness there, and Davis's attempt no good. It'll go the other way. The Toundra up, and there's a quick, fast break bucket from Dominic Welsh. The Cheektowaga, New York native, forces Coach Williams to call the first timeout of this third quarter.
Nick, these Rogues need to get organized. 2 possessions in a row now of looking a little bit broken. They're not getting into their sets. They're maybe rushing a little bit. It's time to just figure out the game plan and execute.
Well, as the Rogues continue to have their break here, we don't get any kind of break because, James, we are going to bring to you now the keys of the game. It's the return of a fan favorite segment from last year. Shout out Colby Marsh for making the graphic to bring this back. James, what are the keys of the game for, well, starting this game now leading on to the second half?
Well, Nick, for the Montreal Toundra, it's about attacking the rim, which is a strategy they've implemented a lot and will continue to implement, I imagine, throughout this game. They also need to keep the perimeter defense sharp. We know that the the Rogues love to score from long range, and there's no reason to think that that will be an exception in the second half of this game. Last key to the game for the Toundra, stop Armani. Good luck with that one, but you got to try your best. Moving on to the Rogues, it's about retaining the record. Simply put, the Rogues got to defend their home floor. They got to come up with a win here. Play the free throw game. The Toundra, we know they're going to attack the rim, try to draw up free throws, try to convert on those easy opportunities. The Rogues have to do the same and move the ball around. That's something they started this quarter doing, and it's something they've gotten away from, and it's something they need to get back to.
That ball movement was massive during the opening stage of the game for the Newfoundland Rogues. They were zipping it around like nobody's business. As Armani Chaney will bring it back the other way here. Our three keys of the game for both teams. Omega Harris spinning up. Beautiful finish over Philip Flory for Omega Harris. 6 points now for the Bethany, Oklahoma native.
Nico Harris providing a much-needed basket for the Rogues. They're functioning as a safety valve.
Fortin underneath is able to grab the board, but can't get the bucket to go with it. Harris looking for the inside pass to Brown, is caught out, will grab his own bucket, and 2 free throws going to come up for Omega Harris. 2 free throws matching the number on his back. Omega Harris, who had 13 points in the last game, will now head to the free throw line.
Nick, Omega Harris certainly a candidate to step up and assist the Rogues. In Marquise Collins' absence, Harris is definitely a suitable candidate to pick up some of that statistical production, get some points on the board for this Rogues team.
Omega Harris looking to hit his second free throw here, would make it a 4-point game, and he does so. So now up to 9 points for Omega Harris. Antoine Mason to Philip Flory. And Mason losing a handle on it, slips through the legs into Armani Chaney's path. Hobson up, in, and 1. Robert Hobson.
And Nick, that long distance bounce pass from Armani Chaney is something that you've got to have exceptional touch and skill to execute. And it allows the Rogues to move really quickly in transition because he sees ahead. Hobson
Making that and 1. So he connects on all 3. 64 to 57 here. This third quarter is going a lot faster than that second quarter has gone.
That's certainly true, Nick.
Mason to Dominic Welsh. Welsh trying to find Mason and just grabs it on the edge of the backcourt violation. And a 3 for Antoine Mason. What a tough bucket.
Nick, it's been a quiet night for Antoine Mason, but rest assured that he is more than likely to heat up as this one continues.
Hobson for 3 now, looking to try it his way, and it's straight into the hands of Mason once again, who's heating up here. That 3 has been money for him. He'll try it again. That one not as money. Great 1-2 inside. The swat coming in there from Will Brown, but the foul is called beforehand. The Newfoundland Rogues just reeling a little bit defensively here as the Toundra are pounding on the pressure. 2 free throws coming up for Dominic Welsh.
And Nick, we know that this Toundra team is not going to stop attacking the rim. They want to get to the free throw line, and they're getting there.
Welsh hitting that one. Dominic Welsh, who again had 2 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists on Thursday, drawing the ire of the Rogues faithful. And he connects on the second one. It's a 2-point game here, James.
Certainly a competitive game, Nick, and last night was the same story.
Harris
2 nights ago.
Fouled, so 3 free throws coming up for Omega Harris. A massive moment in front of the Rogues bench, and Omega Harris continuing to be the spark plug the Rogues need during this third quarter. At 3 fouls now, the Toundra in this third quarter. Harris makes that first one. Omega Harris on the year. Well, his total from Thursday and his average on the year, James, they line up pretty well. Omega Harris averaging 13.5 points per game, 4.2 rebounds per game, 4.2 assists per game throughout this year. In Thursday's game, he had 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist.
Well, Nick, you love his overall well-rounded ability, and this is a player that can affect the game in a number of ways. Harris is a really strong passer. Didn't get the chance to show that off so much in the last game between these two teams, but tonight we've seen that passing touch come into play.
410 to Mason. The spin is no good. It will go the other way here. Here comes Armani Chaney to Hobson. Back to Chaney for 3. Nails it, Armani Chaney!
Rogues starting to create some separation here. Starting to take a lead back again. Feels like anytime, oh, a great pass to
Philip Flory for the inside pass to 410 was no good. It led to the free throw line. James, that's a few plays in a row I'm noticing now where 2 Rogues will come to collapse on the perimeter. It opens up space in the paint, and 410 is able to capitalize.
You're spot on with that one, Nick. The Rogues trying to contain that three-point line, and that's all well and good, but you can't leave the paint quite so available as that.
410 now. Misses the first one.
And Nick, the Rogues going even smaller here with Louis Jonkum as the only big man on the floor. Not quite the same size as William Brown. Robert Hobson back at the 4, so this is a guard-heavy lineup for the Rogues. Another missed free throw for 410.
Here's Omega Harris pulling up for 2. That one in transition, no good. Jonkum fouled on the floor. So that is the 4th foul now for the Toundra de Montréal. It will be 1 foul away now before they instantly send the Rogues to the free throw line, which is again one of the points of the game that the Rogues needed to use, is be dominant on those free throws. A lot of Thursday's offense, especially in the 4th quarter, came from free throws, and we're going to see, as well as I was saying this, James, they were able to inbound, picked up a quick 5th foul.
Yep.
So Armani Chaney going to head to the line here, proving my point exactly.
I believe that was a reach-in foul on Mambi Diawara, if I had to guess. Diawara, excuse me.
Chaney up to 22 points in this one, and Armani Chaney wanted me to mention before the game about his free throws, about how early he shows up to the arena to work on his free throws before every single game. So shout out Armani Chaney. I see you putting in the work. I see everyone else here putting in the work as well. And the work pays off as he's able to nail both of his free throws.
Oh, Nick, it certainly pays off as Armani Chaney is shooting 88.1% on the season. That is reliable free throw production from your star guards.
Welsh,
Great pass.
Beautiful pass inside from Dominic Welsh into Marc-Andre Fortin. And the Montreal Toundra, this has been an excellent showing of skill from both teams here in the 3rd quarter.
Nick, you're right that the Toundra, they're looking to get the ball inside with their passing now instead of dribble penetration, and it's looking like maybe a more reliable strategy for them. Especially with a big man like Marquise Collins being ejected from this one. They're able to capitalize on it more, as once again in the paint, it's Marc-Andre Fortin with a one-handed slam. Fortin becoming suddenly a focal point for this team's offense, and he is justifying that strategic shift.
Fortin only had 2 points, only attempted 3 shots in Thursday's game. Tone for 3, nails that one in front of the Rogues bench.
One thing about this strategy, the Rogues will happily trade 3s for 2s at the same time, so the Toons are going to have to do something to get some three-point attempts going.
Big swat there from Robert Hobson to get that one away from Mambi Diawara. Hobson now to Harris, the cycle into the corner, and the perfect play, almost perfect, is Philip Flory. Back at the top of the circle here, Diawara into Fortin once again. Big block there from Louis Jonkum.
Nick, this is clearly a deliberate change of attack for the Toundra, and I do think it's an effective strategy, but if the Rogues get hot from deep, they will shoot the Toundra out of this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Anthony Otley Jr. going to be coming back into this one for Robert Hobson, so a change coming. Here is Dominic Welsh. 3 is good for Dom Welsh.
Dominic Welsh with 13 in this one, Nick. Another player who's capable of putting up some points on this Toundra team as
Oh, a collision there, and the Rogues still end up with it. Harris to Otley Jr. for 3. That one's good for Anthony Otley Jr.
Nick, 11 points for Otley Jr. I think it's safe to say we haven't seen him crack double digits this year at the Mary Brown Center. An impressive game for him.
4-10 now to Welsh. Another 3 coming up for Welsh, and that one rolls in and out. Foul called on the floor, so the Toundra now having a chance to reset and get another offensive possession. And we're going to see someone come back into this game here. It will be Amari Haynes and Marc-Andre Fortin coming off a like-for-like change.
That's noteworthy, Nick, because Fortin has been the centerpiece of this offense throughout this quarter.
Welsh, 3, nails another one, Dom Welsh. Dom Welsh, who struggled on Thursday, he averages almost 10 points per game in the Basketball Super League. He was bound to have a bounce-back performance tonight, and he's certainly proving it. 2 threes in a row now for him. Cheney to Davis for 3. Another 3 now. It's raining 3s at the Mary Brown Center. It's normally raining something else in St. John's. That would be rain.
You got me on that one, Nick. You got me on that one. Wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of rain coming from the sky when we left the arena here tonight. A ghastly weather day here in St. John's, Newfoundland.
It was so cold. Myself and Colby were locked outside of the arena here for quite some time, and it was not very nice. As Amari Haynes will head to the free throw line, 81-72. Not able to cut into the lead any bit more, as Will Brown is going to come in now for Lewis Jonkum. You can see making his way onto the floor is Will Brown, posted up right by the basket. And Haynes knocks down that one. James, I want to point out that Mamdi Diawara has a double-double in this one, #1 on the Toundra. But another player who's on double-double watch is Armani Cheney. Otley for 3. Takes a couple of bounces and ends up falling over the backboard.
Well, Anthony Otley Jr. needs to keep shooting. He's been very consistent tonight. That's a good shot for him. No shame in a miss. Diawara
now down low, brought to you by the Rogues Action Cam. What are we going to see here? A massive swap by Will Brown.
Nick, that's what Will Brown does. He is one of the premier rim protectors in the BSL. Shot rattles out for Antonio Davis.
Otley with the steal back, lazy in possession were the Toundra there. That was a crucial moment in this one. And now Armani Cheney just given a chance to wear down the clock a little bit before setting up his next play. 3. Almost rebounded by Otley Jr. there. The 3 was no good. Amari Haynes going to go the other way, spinning. Excellent finish inside there, using his size advantage to his advantage against Omega Harris.
Like such an agile spin move for a man of Haynes' size. Very impressive play.
Harris fouled and almost going tumbling into the chairs, but able to grab his balance. And now 2 free throws coming up for Omega Harris. Look at this, James. The action cam getting so close into the action here on the floor.
Almost feels like you're right there with the players, Nick, if not for the fact that we almost are.
Timeout called here. We are going to take one of our few breaks that we have here at the commentary desk to show you an ad. But folks, we will be right back with you in just one moment. Newfoundland Rogues lead 81-75 over the Montreal Toundra. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back to the Mary Brown Center here. The Rogues players are getting back underway in this one. There you can see the fans going crazy in the booth. They love it here. They're having a great time. Everyone has a great time when they're here at the Mary Brown Center. I've never heard otherwise. Therefore, it must be true. There's some more fans having some lifelong memories being made here tonight, and that's what we love doing here at the Mary Brown Center.
Nick, I've known some people to not have a great time at the Mary Brown Center. Visiting teams.
Hey, there we go.
On more than one occasion. As the Rogues are, correct me if I'm wrong, 11-1 at home this year, if not 12-1.
They are 11-1, 12-1 if they can win tonight. Their only loss coming to the KW Titans earlier this season. It was the first time a basketball Super League came to the Mary Brown Center. The KW Titans in the 2024 season. They picked up the first win in the series. The Rogues ended up winning the last 2 games of the series. Overall, the season series winner was the KW Titans.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Rogues fell to them in Kitchener-Waterloo. So Omega Harris will make that second one.
Well, the Titans are just a very strong team, Nick. All the credit in the world to them.
Top of the Basketball Super League right now. The Newfoundland Rogues in second in the Basketball Super League. Battle at the top of the charts here. The Rogues will fall into third with a loss tonight. And foul there, Amari Haynes fouled by Will Brown. So that's 5 fouls for each side now. Any foul called on the floor will result in free throws from this point on in the third quarter. And Amari Haynes looking to try and take advantage of this.
That's a good note, Nick. Very significant. Each team now will try to avoid contact if possible. At the same time, you can't defend passively, so it's a fine line to walk.
If you're, excuse me, James, if you're in a situation, as Amari Haynes knocks down that free throw, if you're in a situation where both teams are in the bonus with a lot of time left like this, is some of the thinking, well, we can be aggressive because they also can't be aggressive as well? Like it's a bit of a mutually assured destruction thing.
Nick, you make a good point. At the same time, you don't want to ever send even decent shooters to the free throw line. So while there's some truth in that, it's still something to keep an eye on, I would suggest.
Offensive foul called on the Newfoundland Rogues there. So the Toundra having a chance to inbound. It's only a 6-point game here at the Mary Brown Center. We have an excellent batch of players outperforming, putting on a show here tonight. Dominic Welch, one of them. Amari Haynes, another one of them. And the 3 is no good. Rebounded by Will Brown. Jalen Smith will have to wait for that one as Omega Harris finding Will Brown for 3, knocking it down.
Nick, we know Will Brown is a stretch big man, and he shows you right there what he's capable of, and that is just so valuable, given especially what he does on this end of the floor.
When the Toundra and Rogues played for the first time this season, it was in Montreal. Will Brown nailed 3 threes in that game. I remember the commentators being dumbfounded by how truly talented Will Brown is.
Nick, I mean, it used to be a prevailing assumption in basketball that a big man wouldn't be able to knock down those threes, but everybody needs to adjust their thinking. It's not so uncommon these days, and Will Brown is a credible threat from long range. Shooting 37.5% from beyond the arc this year, on what I would assume is decent volume, so he's a bona fide shooter.
Cheney, 3, that one no good, into the hands of Mambi Diawara. Cheney and Diawara both on double-double watch. Diawara already received his, but he could not receive the points for that one. Omega Harris on the lob. That would have been incredible. Will Brown decides to go in instead. 2 free throws coming up for the South Carolina native.
Nick, we don't see Will Brown slash or cut to the basket like that very often. Usually he's more inclined to operate in the pick and roll, but he saw an opportunity and he made a dive, and he's being rewarded for his efforts with 2 free throws.
You can see Omega Harris and Coach Sherry Williams just having a little bit of a laugh after that one, after Cheney was able to lob it perfectly to Omega.
Yeah.
Just couldn't get up high enough, but I've seen Omega nail so many of those in practice.
Oh, yeah.
It's bound to happen at some point this year, and when it does, the lid will come off this place.
Omega Harris is an absolutely remarkable athlete. We always talk about his speed, but you do not want to sell his vertical leap short either.
Making that one is Will Brown, so 2 free throws there, 88-77. The Rogues, for as close as this one has seemed, they've kept a tight lead throughout the majority of this game. Dominic Welsh and a big slam there.
Absolutely dominant dunk from Welch. The Toundra starting to create some transition opportunities. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Big steal there from Armani Cheney, Anthony Ollie Jr., and one! The Rogues faithful letting Anthony Ollie Jr. hear their applause. He's been phenomenal so far tonight. He'll have a chance to head to the free throw line to cap off this amazing play.
Speechless. There's only one word for that sequence, and it's wow.
So Anthony Otley Jr. heading to the free throw line here. We'd like to make a correction. It was Amari Haynes who took the Dom Welsh pass into the dunk earlier. So it was Amari Haynes getting the credit for that monster, I guess, poster on Will Brown.
And Nick, it was another look-ahead pass for Armani Cheney that created that field goal opportunity.
And one there for Mambi Diawara, and the referee's going to have a discussion here about what they saw. And no basket. No basket called. I believe it was for hanging on the rim afterwards.
I believe you're right, Nick.
It was a perfectly legal basket in the sense that it was in. Nothing was wrong with how it was shot, but you can't hang on to the rim for that long, especially as the ball is falling into the net.
That is offensive interference, and 2 free throws is the right call in this case.
Omega just having a word with the official on the right-hand side of your screen there. Can only wonder what they are discussing. And folks, if you're noticing a lack of Marquise Collins tonight, and if you're late tuning in, he was ejected from this one early on for getting into a tussle with multiple Montreal players. Coach Damian Buckley was involved as well. And that one will be Rogues ball. Toundra ball?
Toundra ball, I believe, Nick. Otherwise,
both coaches are clamoring for it here. It looked like there was a little bit of miscommunication on who actually had possession there. Both coaches arguing their case. Mambi Diawara up and off the glass is no good. Rebounded up again. There's a nice finish from Jalen Smith. He is up to 5 points in this one, and a foul called.
Nick, Omega Harris instinctually put the shot up as he was absorbing the contact. Didn't need to do that because they're in the bonus anyway, but you've got to love that instinct to try to draw a shooting foul.
Referees once again having a little discussion here on what to do. There will be free throws coming up for Omega Harris. And we're just trying to get confirmation here. I believe a tech was called. So Armani Cheney will have a chance to finish this off, and then Omega Harris will have a chance to shoot some free throws if this all lines up correctly.
Nick, you see some developing chemistry between Armani Cheney and Omega Harris, this newly assembled starting backcourt for the Newfoundland Rogues. Harris, a little bit of a different guard than the types of guards we've seen Armani Cheney play with throughout last year. A little more effective with the ball, and they've had to learn to share, and it's gone quite well for the Rogues.
So Cheney going to finish off this technical foul. And once again, like to mention that Armani Cheney comes early. He puts in the work on those free throws, and exactly why. Moments like those. You could see, James, the Montreal Toundra players during that little break in play just having a convening, a coming together at the center. What do you think they were saying in those moments as they've kind of let this one slip in a sense.
Well, I think this team is fighting, I think. They're trying to find a way to get an edge. They're obviously struggling here in this building, as so many teams have, but they're not going to give up. That much is obvious.
Cheney inside to Brown, up and one. It's called a foul on Montreal. Toundra can't believe it. They're going to argue with the official here. Amari Haynes is in shock. Armani Cheney, as Colby Marsh is just pointing out to me here, our sideline reporter, Armani Cheney is on triple-double watch. He was on double-double watch. He hasn't been able to get those rebounds up. The assists are making their way up there. 24, 8, and 8 in this one for Armani Cheney as Will Brown nails that free throw. It's the final possession of the third quarter. And James, you will have a chance to speak to a Montreal Toundra player at the conclusion of this third quarter. So folks, don't go anywhere during the break in action, because it will be exactly that. As that one rebounded by Will Brown underneath the basket. The Toundra not able to capitalize. The Newfoundland Rogues able to hold a firm ship here. A 12-point lead for them as they head into the fourth quarter. Anything could happen here at the Mary Brown Center. And we will soon hear from a member of the Montreal Toundra. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back with you in just one moment. So welcome back to the court here at the Mary Brown Center. We saw some great action in between the quarters there. A little game of bowling for a lucky birthday boy. We were supposed to hear from one of the members of the Montreal Toundra, but given the state of the game, it is no surprise that they will want to focus all of their assets on winning this one and not joining us at the commentary table.
It's hard to blame them for that, Nick. They're in the heat of battle here. They have higher priorities.
Not able to convert on that first attempt, though.
We will press on.
Armani Cheney, once again, who is on triple-double watch. 24, 8, and 8. Cheney up, and that's so good from Armani Cheney. 26 points in this one now.
Nick, 3 steals are also worth noting for Armani.
Big steal there as it'll go up the other way. The Toundra just not able to get anything going together in this fourth quarter, the early stages. A minute has elapsed now as Cheney up, in, and off the rim. Welch now to Antoine Mason on the fast break. Finding Mambi Diawara. 3 here is good. And that 3 from Nervins Demosthenes will cut the Rogues' lead down to 11.
And a great pass from Diawara there, which is going to be his 6th assist on the night. That's to go with 13 points and 11 rebounds. But Nick, I think the Toundra need to slow this down early in this quarter and try to operate in the half court. They're playing into the Rogues' hand by running so much that you're not going to beat the Rogues in a running game.
Nervins Demosthenes was at 0 points before connecting on that one. Mason for 3 now, no good, rebounded by Robert Hobson. Nervins Demosthenes was a guy who Coach Damian Buckley said he had to get a little bit more out of this game. He was making excellent cuts last game. He had all of his points in the paint. He hasn't been able to get on the score sheet that often tonight, as that one's stolen by Antoine Mason.
Like
Rogues possession.
Only 1 attempted field goal for Demosthenes prior to that last make. 2 assists to go with 3 turnovers. A little bit of passivity from Demosthenes here tonight, and last night we saw that he's certainly capable of more.
Anthony Otley Jr. coming out of this one. Replacing him will be Shondarius Coward. Hobson for 3. Off the rim and safely into the warm embrace of Nervins Demosthenes. Now Dominic Welch. And swatted away by Shondarius Coward. Almost hitting a fan in the front row here. And a little helper retrieving the ball and handing it back to the official. It's the moments like that, James, that the fans will never forget.
Well, Nick, that one won't show up on the stat sheet, but a valuable contribution to the game nonetheless, and an accurate pass for that matter.
Mason knocking that mid-range jumper down. He's up to 12 points in this one. He is the 5th player on the Montreal Toundra to reach into double-digit scoring in this game.
The Toundra is still very much within reach, Nick. It's only a 9-point game. Anything could happen here in the Mary Brown Center.
That scramble here as Cheney will go up and off the rim. And Shondarius just colliding with Demosthenes. Just a little bit too hard there. Shondarius picking up the Rogues' first foul of this fourth quarter.
Antonio Davis looking to check in here, Nick. In place of Shondarius Coward, it would seem. Interesting decision from Coach Williams.
Is indeed what is happening here. Shondarius Coward off after that one, so Antonio Davis in. Perhaps some foul trouble for Shondarius. Lewis Joncom's making his way to the bench as well. This rotation that Coach Jerry was talking about, we've been speaking about it all game, coming into effect. Is Dominic Welch, that 3 no good. Put back up by Jalen Smith. That one will go. So Jalen Smith, who now sits at 7 points and 2 rebounds in this contest.
Well, Nick, in that possession, Will Brown had to come up to the 3-point line to contest the 3. Great pass from Brown. But that left the interior open in the easy putback for the Toundra without Brown in the middle. Not Brown's fault. Somebody had to contest the shot.
Hobson now finding Cheney. Cheney pull up deep 2 at the end of the shot clock. Had to get something off there. Cheney wasn't the worst effort, as Antoine Mason will go the other way.
This Rogues offense.
Steal there by Armani Cheney and Omega Harris's collective effort.
Yep.
Antonio Davis, step across and a travel called. Just seems like he took a couple of steps there before darting off to the side and trying to hit that 3 off the dribble.
Davis not happy with that one, Nick. Thought he made it a legal sidestep. I'm not so sure myself. I would like to see a replay. He certainly, in a literal sense, traveled a great distance.
Antoine Mason now driving, spinning up. Excellent finish there from Antoine Mason. 14 points now. He averages 22 points a game in the Basketball Super League. That puts him 5th in league scoring.
Nick, one wonders if we'll see Mason, activate takeover mode in this one. He's been a little quieter tonight, but there's still plenty of time for him to rack up points.
That's a few times now you mentioned entering takeover mode. I wonder if this special project that you are working on, which we can reveal
Oh,
more
no.
details on later, is influencing the mind a little bit.
Oh no, it may be, Nick. It may be.
If anyone can take a hint there as to what we are talking about, you'll have an inside scoop on something that we are working on releasing.
Nick, will we save the details until the project's further along in development, or are
Yeah,
we gonna...
we'll save the details for now. Of course, nothing's set in stone as of right now, but I'm assuming some young fans are going to like what we have to offer in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. NFLD Rogues on social media for that. Dom Welsh up. The jump ball was won by the Toundra, and they will win an extra attempt from the line here. 2 free throws coming up for Dominic Welsh.
Nick, this is a close game here. Only a 5-point deficit all of a sudden for the Toundra, and the Rogues are going to start generating some offense, putting some points on the board, or else this one could easily slip away from them. Their offensive game plan is grinded to a halt here somewhat.
Philip Flory, Dominic Welsh missing that first one. Dominic Welsh, he played the senior season of his university career with Alabama. It was a very prestigious school. He also previously played some professional ball in Austria.
Nick, I believe recent number 2 pick in the NBA draft, Brandon Miller, played at Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. So certainly a school that's produced some high-level basketball talent, and he's no exception, to say the least.
Jonkum up. Foul call. 2 free throws coming up for the big man.
Got to fact check myself there, so if you'll excuse me quickly.
In comes Armani Cheney for the inbound. Now Luce Jonkum will be on the receiving end of it.
Brandon Miller, Alabama graduate, so I know a little bit about basketball sometimes.
Only a little bit, as Antonio Davis up, and that one mad scramble under the basket. Will end up as will end up as Toundra ball, as they call a timeout there as they get possession. Timeout called here, folks. We don't have lots left to go here in the fourth quarter. We thank you for watching us here on BSL TV, for tuning in. And we should see an exciting end to this game as the fans are getting excited. They want to see who will be the fan of the game. Peter Easton. Look at him there. There's a whole group of fans there who seem like they want to be fan of the game, Peter.
Certainly strong candidates, but Easton, a discerning individual, he's going to wait it out and see if there's a better fan of the game.
I think every fan of the game is the best fan of the game. As Peter Easton has found his winner. We haven't got a shot yet of it, though, but rest assured, folks, Peter Easton found his winner, and all those fans there are incredibly disappointed that they are not fan of the game, but overall happy that they are down here having a blast at a Newfoundland Rogues basketball game.
And Nick, I'll tell you what, I'm fairly confident. I went to high school with the father of the fan of the game in this case, one Kevin Stamp, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, not planned at all as well. This is, normally we do bits like that on this show, but genuinely that was not planned, so.
Yep, no, that's just how that worked out. Great guy, not a close friend of mine, grade below me, but really nice fella, and I'm sure he's raising a great young man over there, and a deserving fan of the game.
It certainly has to be a great young man if he wins fan of the game, because everybody who wins fan of the game is great. Of course, Peter Easton, he's able to pick out these things very quickly
Yeah.
and determine if you are a good person or not.
He's an intuitive guy, is Peter Easton.
He possesses abilities that no normal human has.
Certainly not.
Not every human has a parrot glued to their shoulder, but nonetheless, Peter Easton and his matey are certainly a dynamic duo. As we are back underway here in this one, Antoine Mason getting the inbound with just a shave under 7 minutes left to go here in this contest. And what has been a cold Saturday here in St. John's is only going to get hotter as this action continues to heat up. Poked out from underneath the basket, and Armani Cheney will carefully collect it before deciding what to do.
Nick Armani Cheney playing with some urgency there, making sure to control that ball and not suffer another turnover. Understanding the gravity of the situation here as the Rogues only hold a 4-point lead.
And the Rogues getting possession here now. And Cheney going to inbound, just a little bit of an off-ball foul here, and I'm trying to pick up what I'm trying to hear as well. I believe there's a portion of fans just yelling Antoine over and over again, trying to throw off Antoine Mason.
Well, Mason can only take that as a compliment, Nick. These fans have identified the most dangerous player on this Toundra team, and they're responding accordingly.
I take it as a sign of praise more than anything. It's
Exactly.
Antoine Mason to Dom Welsh, being guarded at the perimeter by Brown, knocked out of his hands by Will Brown, and he'll do a bit more than that. He'll take the foul, so 2 free throws coming up for Dom Welsh. 3rd foul of the 4th quarter for the Newfoundland Rogues.
Nick Welsh, a dangerous player in his own right. He's got 17 points here already to go with 7 rebounds and 5 assists. And not quite as productive in the last contest, but we did see shades of this type of ability from Welch as he finished with 16 points in the last game.
Bluebirds raining down. And Dominic Welsh nailing that one. So just like that, James, it's a 2-point game. The Newfoundland Rogues, who have led by as many as 15 just a few minutes ago, now it is a 2-point game. The Toundra have come together here in this 4th quarter and really put together a strong effort as Armani Cheney, that one off the rim, no good. The Toundra now with a chance to take the lead. What will they do? Demosthenes backing up, finding Antoine Mason. Up, off the glass, and it's good. This game, ladies and gentlemen, is tied.
Nick, to give the Toundra all the credit in the world. Very impressive comeback here, and to tie the game up.
Will Brown nailing that spinning, floating effort. Rogues take back the lead, but James, we are in for a photo finish in this one. Antoine Mason
likely.
up, and the massive swat attempt from Will Brown. He didn't get connection on the ball. I don't believe he got too much connection on the man. The referees will say it was enough to send Antoine Mason to the free throw line. So Antoine Mason, where late in games he's had a bit of an issue with his free throws so far in this series, now has a chance to tie this game back up once again.
Well, Nick, I was just thinking, in the last contest, as he misses the first one, Mason, he seemingly lost steam towards the end of the game after having been so productive throughout. I wonder if there was a deliberate effort to maintain and conserve some of his energy in this game, have some of the other Toundra players carry the offense so that Mason could handle his business down the stretch.
Omega Harris using the screen from Will Brown to his advantage. Robert Hobson now. Hobson to Otley Jr. Anthony Otley Jr. losing a handle on it, finding Hobson. Back to Otley Jr. for 3. That was a long way out, and it's not rebounded in time by the Rogues on that play. So unfortunate turn of events for the Rogues in front of their home bench. And the Montreal Toundra going to have a chance now to inbound and take the lead if they can convert.
A 1-point game, Nick. It doesn't get much closer than that. A lot of tension in this building as these two sides both look to come away with a win.
Mason, deep 3. Oh my, off the dribble, off balance, Antoine Mason. And the Montreal Toundra, for the first time in what feels like forever, have taken the lead at the Mary Brown Center. How will the Rogues respond? It's Armani Cheney into the corner for Otley, for Hobson, well defended by the Toundra. Brown inside, and it will be an offensive foul called on Will Brown. The Montreal Toundra escaping.
Nick, I'm really impressed with this Toundra defense here, especially in this 4th quarter. pretty traditional man-to-man defense, but they are not allowing any daylight. Nobody ever is open. Everybody is sticking to their assignment.
So Antoine Mason using the screen well here, driving. Oh, massive block by Will Brown. Rebound not able to get controlled up, and it will be Toundra ball. Timeout called as they were able to get a handle on it, call an instant timeout. Heads up play from Coach Damian Buckley and the rest of the Montreal Toundra. We will take our final break of this game before we lock in for the remainder of it. See Jerry in a suit one more time because it's definitely off by this stage. Folks, we'll be right back with you in just one moment. What a finish we have cooking here at the Mary Brown Center. Welcome back to the desk here at the Mary Brown Center. The producer and play-by-play commentator, Nick Conway, joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, James Piercy. Speaking of legends, there are some people who have become legends so far in this series. Armani Chaney, Antoine Mason, Robert Hobson, Marc-Andre Fortin for a while during this game looked like he was unstoppable, and we are in for such an amazing finish. James, how can you see this one turning out? What do the Rogues have to do to start pounding that offensive glass again and making a nuisance in the Montreal zone?
Yeah, that would certainly be an effective strategy, Nick. They also have to find a way to slow down Mason. He's getting whatever he wants. I don't know if you have to switch up the coverage, switch up his primary assignment, maybe stick Otley Jr. on him, who did a good job containing him last night, but something's going to have to give there.
See some excited Rogues fans ready for basketball action. The inbound is coming for the Toundra. Welsh on the ball. Finding Mason. Antoine Mason for three. A ridiculous three from Antoine Mason. Are you kidding me? The Montreal Toundra lead.
And Nick, Coach Williams seems to have resorted to putting William Brown as the primary assignment for Mason, and that's a bold play. Didn't pay off there in spite of his outstretched arm. Mason able to knock down the three.
That's just a pure shooter shot. Hobson, three. Quick release, and Robert Hobson nails it.
Speaking of pure shooters, Nick, Hobson about the purest on the floor right now.
This has been such an intense game. Up, no foul call. The board is good, and the and one will not be good. Jalen Smith going to head to the line. The Toundra up by 2. They have a chance to extend it into no longer a one-possession game if Jalen Smith can finish off his free throws.
Nick, worth noting that on that last Robert Hobson three, Armani Chaney picked up his 10th assist, which officially puts him at the triple-double marker. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists.
Congratulations to Armani Chaney for achieving a double-double, a rare feat here this season. Jalen Smith missing that one.
That'll be a triple-double, my friends.
Oh, did I say double-double?
Yeah.
Meant to say triple-double. Double-doubles are a very common occurrence here at the Mary Brown Center. Is missing both free throws, Jalen Smith. The Rogues given a lifeline back into this one. And Will Brown, Omega Harris, and the rest of the crew feeding off the energy of the crowd. What's going to happen? Harris to Antonio Davis. Davis. Outside to Will Brown for 3. Oh, it was close from the big man, but an excellent arm out from Welsh to get a strong hand in the face.
What a competitive game, Nick, and we are getting down to the wire in this one. Not sure how it's going to play out.
Welsh up here against Chaney. Great steal by Armani Chaney. It's going to go down the other way. Chaney Looking for an option, takes it on himself, and Dominic Welsh with the block. It goes the other way again here now. Action-packed back-to-back. Antonio Davis, and the foul is called on the reach-in attempt. That is now 5 fouls for the Newfoundland Rogues. Antoine Mason off the Antonio Davis foul will now head to the free throw line. The Newfoundland Rogues with 2:30 left to go in this one just can't seem to get things to go their way.
And Nick, I'll tell you, Antonio Davis did what he had to do there. He had to hustle. He had to at least make an effort to deter the layup, and he doesn't have the size to contest it traditionally, so he went for the steal, and that's the right play. And look, a missed free throw for Antoine Mason.
Another missed free throw for Mason. It has been the story of this series. He is 5th in basketball scoring, or Basketball Super League scoring, as we said earlier. But those free throw demons are coming into effect late on. Can he hit this one? He'll miss another one, sending the fans into a frenzy. That's 6 free throws in a row that the Toundra as a team have missed.
And Nick, that's the story of the game right there in simple terms. Those freebies, they're worth as much as any other field goal, or at least, well, half as much. You know what I'm trying to say. The points are the points.
3, and that one good, the fadeaway, spinning 2.
Armani Cheney with the clutch bucket, and this one is tied up.
Ties this one up here. Dominic Welsh, I can barely hear myself. It feels like there's 10,000 fans here in the Mary Brown Center cheering the team on. Mason up, and what a tough finish from Antoine Mason, getting right in Omega Harris's face afterwards.
And Nick, I'll tell you, down the stretch like this, analysis goes out the window. It's really Armani Cheney versus Antoine Mason, and whatever else happens. Omega Harris
not able to get that one to convert. Nobody there for the rebound, and now the Toundra able to calm this down, use the clock to their advantage. Defense chance being spurred on by our announcer, Chris Lansdell. Dominic Welsh looking to ice this game for Montreal, and 1!
Nick, that will make this a 2-possession game, so certainly time left for the Rogues to make a comeback, but that is a significant
offensive
marker.
Foul called. Offensive foul. I was trying to cut you off there, but you were in such a rhythm. Well, the Newfoundland Rogues offensive foul called on the Montreal Toundra, so a massive chance for the Newfoundland Rogues to get back into this one. I thought, and so did everyone else in this building, that was going to be an and 1. Referee held that arm out, showing that it was Rogues ball, and the crowd lit up as Omega Harris finding Armani Cheney.
I was just making sure that you were on your P's and Q's, actually. I knew, but I wanted to see if you'd correct me.
Antonio Davis up, the floater, and 1 won't be good, but a offensive foul called.
Offensive foul.
Back-to-back offensive fouls now for each side. And Antonio Davis, that bucket was not going to go, but the free throws would have been an excellent consolation prize for him. Demosthenes on the ball, and we are under a minute left to go.
Big possession right here. Big possession, Nick.
Mason looking for an option. Taking it in stride here. The double team on Antoine Mason. Going to shoot it anyways. That one rebounded by Cheney. Cheney going to take it the other way here with a chance to tie. It's Omega Harris in!
Nick, credit to Armani Cheney for trusting his teammate. Credit to Harris for the finish. And this one is tied up once again.
The fans here, James, they're leaving me speechless. They are making so much noise. A timeout called by the Toundra. They're feeling the heat. And 1:30 is what remains in this timeout before we get back to basketball action. James, we're gonna bring us back to the desk here in just a moment. We gotta take a breather here and calm down. What a phenomenal bit of basketball we've seen here. The fans have been getting into it. We've seen end-to-end stuff here, offensive fouls. We've seen defensive fouls. We've seen everything you could possibly see here. Ejections, fights. It's been a phenomenal basketball game. Peter Easton is right in front of me, trying to get the fans spurred on here. How does this one play out? If you're Coach Williams and Coach Buckley, what are you saying to each of your guys right now to try and will them into a winning position in this tie game?
Nick, in this type of a clutch situation, basketball simplifies to some extent. It's about getting the ball in the hands of your most reliable weapons. That's going to be Antoine Mason and Armani Chaney. That's not to say that nobody else can step up, but the first plan is to get the ball to your guys.
Well, we saw a very similar photo finish in the reverse fixture of this, the Newfoundland Rogues going into Montreal. Omega Harris won it with a last-second layup. We are in for a similar finish here tonight, folks. I wouldn't go anywhere if I were you. Back down to the court in just a moment. They've actually paused the timing on this timeout at 24. That's also the amount of time left in the game. They're giving these fans, or excuse me, these players a chance to really go over strategy, as the Rogues and the Toundra now are being pressured to break their timeout. Rogues are already back on the floor. Toundra finally breaking theirs, going a little overtime on that timeout, making sure everything in his order, what should be a phenomenal final 25 seconds.
Nick, it's hard to know what to say. Coach Williams going back to a smaller lineup with the exception of Will Brown. It's Brown and 4 guards. The Toundra getting ready to set up their offense.
The inbound is good. Less than 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Inside, stolen away, and it is Rogues ball, ladies and gentlemen. The Newfoundland Rogues with possession.
Great hands from Robert Hobson there, Nick, to force the turnover. Rogues call a quick timeout. Coach Williams getting involved with the crowd.
Coach Williams is firing everyone up. You love to see it. This is the loudest I've heard this Mary Brown Center crowd all year. A standing O from half the people here, and we're not even close to finishing. 13 seconds left to go. Tie game. The Newfoundland Rogues with a chance to keep the home winning streak alive. 12-1 home record on the way if the Rogues can convert on this crucial final possession.
This is what it's all about, Nick. This building is electric. We've got a remarkable turnout here, and they certainly are getting a treat. These are the moments you live for, whether you're the broadcast team or whether you're one of the basketball players. It's all about these clutch situations.
There's the Rogues fans having a great time. So pumped to be up on the big screen here. She doesn't even know she's on the broadcast as well. And look at that guy getting into it. These fans love every second of basketball action here, James, and I would as well if I was a season ticket holder. This is phenomenal.
In a sense, we're like season ticket holders. We have a ticket.
We do indeed have a ticket to get in here. It's just our ticket allows us to do what we do.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like a job, Nick, especially when we're watching games like this one.
So here we go, James. 13.7 seconds left on the clock. The fans are getting up on their feet. I'm going to have to get up on my feet now, too, so that I can see the action. Here we go. Armani Chaney calming it down here. One last possession. Chaney, 3, misses, and it will go the other way. Half court, misses, and we will see overtime at the Mary Brown Center for the first time. So overtime starting for Tant wins the tip. Mambi Diawara getting started here. The first time we've had overtime action at the Mary Brown Center all season. It was a regular occurrence against the Canadian teams last season. Diawara 3, rebounded by Will Brown.
Nick, nothing beats overtime basketball. Every possession counts. Every moment is pivotal. Armani Chaney knows that. Robert Hobson does too.
3, no good, and it will be rebounded by Mason. Now Mambi Diawara going to go the other way. Dominic Welsh for 3. Diawara with the rebound, swatted by Robert Hobson. And I believe we are going to see 2 free throws come up here. Once again, free throws have been a point of contention for the Toundra, so pivotal moment to see if they can take the lead on a trip to the charity stripe.
Diawara, a 73.9% free throw shooter, a solid mark, not especially strong, but when the lights are this bright, it does change the equation, but he knocks down the first one. Of course, Nick, some players will respond to this kind of tension and pressure, and some players will wilt, and we'll see how this turns out.
Mambi making that second one, so now a 2-point lead for the Toundra de Montréal. After a month-long break, they are back in action here at the Mary Brown Center. They lost on Thursday, looking to win for the first time in quite some time here tonight. Cheney up, no foul call, but he's gonna fight for that rebound, and it's going to be Toundra ball as he is out of bounds while holding the ball.
Nick, the Toundra really have turned it up on the defensive end. They're making it very difficult for the Rogues to find anything.
This is some of the most hard-nosed defense I've seen in quite some time from the Toundra. They have a chance to really make their mark if they can capitalize here. Wide open for 3, and he misses. Welsh with the rebound, or excuse me, Mambi with the rebound. Travel called on Mambi Diawara.
Diawara not happy with the call. He has been absolutely phenomenal tonight. Very impressed with him, a very well-rounded effort. Good decision maker with the ball, selfless, hard-working player.
Certainly been one of the players of the game, if not the player of the game for the Toundra in this contest. Unfortunate situation there. Omega Harris will try to capitalize. Will Brown inside, now spinning up with the one hand. No good, and it's rebounded by Levi Londelay, who hasn't seen a lot of action here, but he is certainly coming up when it matters the most. Antoine Mason now defending all over the place. Diawara 3, again not able to connect. Londelay getting the rebound, and Mason rebounded there by Cheney. And with just over 3 minutes left to go here in OT, the Rogues need to get something here. They haven't had a point in a while. Massive swat, another massive swat, and 2 free throws coming up for Will Brown. So a bucket in play has not been made by the Newfoundland Rogues in quite some time.
No,
they
sir.
will have a chance to tie the game from the free throw line.
Nick, frankly, given how significantly this Rogues offense has lost itself, it's almost impressive that this game is even in overtime. All the credit to the Toundra for their remarkable defense.
Will Brown nailing that first free throw.
Brown, of course, a reliable free throw shooter, 84.1%. So Rogues fans can breathe a little easily with him at the line as he knocks down the second one.
Big free throws for Will Brown. Mason to Mambi Diawara. Diawara inside here, Levi Londelay, and he gets it to go after it takes a couple of bounces. Londelay now his first 2 points of the game coming up huge. Hobson to Cheney. They're defending Cheney high up. They know he can shoot from anywhere. He's going to try and blast by. 2 free throws coming up for Armani Cheney.
Nick, the Rogues looking to bludgeon the Toundra inside with layup and attempts, trying to get to the free throw line wherever possible. That's a great strategy in overtime. These teams are tired. If you can get to the free throw line, slow it down a little bit, preserve some intensity for the defensive end, that's critical.
Cheney hitting that first one. Looking to make it 2 for 2. He's perfect tonight. And no exception there. He will remain perfect in the clutch moments of this one. Mambi Diawara up against Omega Harris. Finding Antoine Mason. The Montreal Toundra. 110 to 110. Mambi spinning, cutting inside. Lovely finish there from Mambi Diawara, and 1.
Diawara, a capable on-ball creator, Nick, a selfless player who's not always going to attack like that, but he's more than capable.
Diawara now going to head to the free throw line where before he stepped up in this overtime, they had missed 6 free throws in a row. Manby trying to make it 3 made in a row. Will Brown now heading to the bench. An interesting development. No Marquise Collins, no Will Brown as he heads to the bench now. A small lineup for the Rogues as Manby Diawara misses the free throw.
Nick, a extremely small lineup, and as we've said throughout the game, this one now is very reminiscent of the brand of basketball that the Rogues played last season, where they frequently went small this way. And I like it as a bit of a curveball late in the overtime frame here. The Rogues going to try to shoot the Toundra out of the building if possible.
Armani Chaney showing off some silky moves. 3, nails it, Armani Chaney!
Oh my, Armani Chaney.
The lead is once again in the hands of the Rogues, but the Toundra will have their chance.
Stops are pivotal here, Nick. It's a little harder when you're playing small. The Rogues, they've got to be on a string on the defensive end, switch where necessary, scramble.
Welsh up. 2 free throws coming up for Dominic Welsh, so a chance to tie and potentially take the lead here. The Toundra. This is the biggest moment of the game for them by far.
Nick, I know you're a hockey guy. I myself more of a basketball purist, but going small like this at this stage in the game, it's something like pulling the goalie. Not as extreme, but to an extent, you're trading offense for defense.
I love any kind of hockey reference we can get on here as Dom Welsh will tie the game with that free throw.
Well, Nick, that's probably the last one you're ever going to hear from me.
Dom Welsh makes it, so 2 free throw makes, and the Newfoundland Rogues now down by 1. Chaney. What will he do here? Driving up against Demosthenes. The one-handed attempt is no good. The Toundra now with a chance to expand on their lead. Here's Dom Welsh. Inside, stolen, stripped away, and a foul will come in the process.
Going to be a foul on Robert Hobson, I believe, there. Maybe a reach-in foul, or as well a shooting foul, because we're going to see 2 free throws for Welsh here.
So with a chance to go up by as many as 3 points, the Newfoundland Rogues, 1:18 left on the clock. The home fans are doing their best to try and throw Welsh off, but he's been so money on his shooting tonight. I don't think anything could.
Welsh 22 points to go with 9 boards and 7 dimes, so very productive evening for him.
And he misses that one. So a 2-point game. The Newfoundland Rogues with an opportunity here to tie or potentially take the lead.
What a game.
Chaney inside now, finding Anthony Otley Jr., who finds Omega Harris, and a foul. Just went into him with a little bit too much mustard. Antoine Mason.
Nick, Mason is strong because he just sent Omega Harris flying to Halifax practically, about halfway between St. John's and Montreal.
Almost sent him into the chairs that were knocked over as well. Omega has had so many close calls with those chairs. It's felt like a decade ago that the chair slap moment even happened on Thursday. This feels so far removed from the game that we saw then. Omega Harris now with 2 free throw attempts. It's a huge moment in this game, James.
Nick, you couldn't overstate the significance of these free throws.
Makes that one. Omega Harris, he's been perfect from the free throw line tonight. He will have to remain perfect to tie this one.
Harris, always reliable at the free throw line, but again, it's different in these types of moments. Not for Omega Harris as he knocks the second one down.
Omega Harris has won championships before. He knows how to ice out games. Him and Robert Hobson, they are born winners. And Harris fulfilling his end of the bargain. Now the defense will have to do their part. Antoine Mason up, off the glass, rebounded by Antoine Mason, and it's lost. A shooting foul called. And the Rogues fans cannot believe it.
This is the problem with this small lineup. The Rogues have no choice but to hack and slash, trying to defend those layup attempts. And I mean, Antoine Mason, he's going to get to the free throw line every time.
Levy Londelay, say, was the one who was fouled. Levy Londelay has a 76% free throw percentage on the year. We imagine that's in a smaller sample size than someone like an Antoine Mason. Interesting shot form there on the free throw. Nevertheless, it goes in, and Levy Londelay putting the Montreal Toundra in the lead. Will it be a 1 or 2 point lead? Let's find out. 2 point lead for the Montreal Toundra.
Like that shot reminds me of an old pro, but I can't think of who it is off the top of my head. Doesn't matter right now with 38 seconds remaining.
Cheney wanted the three, and he will lose it. Armani Cheney, it slips out of his hands. Dominic Welsh going to go down the other way. An easy finish for Welsh, and the Newfoundland Rogues now down by 4 after Armani Cheney letting it slip. Omega Harris now driving up in. There's 2 for Omega Harris. Foul underneath the basket, and we're going to see what's going to happen here. A timeout called by the Toundra after that little skirmish. And with a few seconds left remaining on the clock, the Newfoundland Rogues are down by 2.
Nick, rest assured that the Toundra are feeling good here. The Rogues need a little more of that luck at the free throw line if they're going to emerge with the victory, because otherwise this one is in hand for the Toundra. Mathematically speaking, they will almost have to miss a free throw to lose this game, barring a steal.
Rogues fans getting on their feet, getting into the action here at the Mary Brown Center. They have been amazing tonight, James, just like they are every night. Putting on a show, these players are, for these wonderful, wonderful fans. We'll bring you back to the desk here for what could be the final time before this game wraps up. James, how are the Rogues not able to penetrate on the offense? Is it the lack of size and rebounding ability, or is there something else going on in exactly their offense that's not allowing them to get these plays cooking at the right times?
Yeah, the lack of size is a factor, although the floor spacing should be advantageous insofar as creating driving lanes for Armani Cheney and Omega Harris. I think a lot of it has to do with the sheer amount of attention that they're paying to Armani Cheney. They're quick to collapse as soon as he gets to the paint, and they're limiting his free throw attempts in the process.
So here we go, folks. We are back underway here. We'll bring you back down to the court for all the overtime action now. There you can see the Rogues and the Toundra taking their places here. It is a one-possession game in the fact that there's only time on the clock for, in theory, one possession. It's also a one-possession game in terms of the score, 119 to 117. Here we go. The high press. Foul called on Omega Harris.
And that's going to send
Dominic
Welsh to the free throw line. And Nick, that is not what the doctor necessarily ordered for the Rogues, although interestingly, shooting 60% from the free throw line on the season.
Cheney trying to get in the head of Dom Welsh there, playing some mind games. Namby and Cheney exchanging some words here now. The referee getting involved.
And Nick, have you noticed? Yes.
Foo is here, ladies and gentlemen. And if this shapes up the way it's shaping up in my head right now, this could be in for a phenomenal finish. Welsh nails that first one, though. 3-point lead for the Montreal Toundra.
Welsh, a mediocre free throw shooter on the season, but tonight he's got ice in his veins.
60% from free throw, and he makes both of those now. He's made his last 6 free throws in a row. Davis now finding Omega Harris. Harris needs to do something quick here. 3, is off the mark, rebounded. Now Anthony Otley Jr. needs to get something going. Otley Jr. for three. That one no good. Tipped and into the hands of the Toundra. The Montreal Toundra will see this one out. Antoine Mason finishing off cheekily as the Montreal Toundra comes